just a creepy movie. It definitely creeps you out for sure.
Somebody has to be perfect, so it might as well be me.
Talk about deja vu.
You live to tell the tale.
You gotta think like a werewolf.
It's the Slashers and Screamers podcast. Welcome to Slashers and Screamers. I am one of your co-hosts, Billy Graves. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get my fellow co-hosts in here. Start off with the Godfather of Droll James. Welcome, sir.
Hello. What's up?
What are you up to, James?
Well, I've just been over here working.
Yeah.
I bought me a sprayer.
A sprayer
to go on the back of my four-wheeler.
Well, Lord knows you have to spray things when you're riding your four-wheeler. What are you spraying?
Well, I'm going to spray the yard for fleas and ticks and other creepy crawlers.
Yes.
And then I'm going to spray the fence rows and kill some vegetation, Bill.
Oh, the bad kind.
That's right.
Okay. Well, that's good, James. I mean, you've had a pretty busy day today, but I know you've been pretty busy with your football
I ain't got my damn sprayer put together yet.
Well, have one of the football kids put it together.
They ain't got good sense, Bill.
Well, it's probably because you're having to bang their heads together every day. Well, how was spring training? Was spring training good?
Spring practice went off without a hitch, Bill. We went over there to your hometown and whooped up on them little kids you got.
Well, hang on, James. I moved here well after the fact.
They didn't know which way was which when we showed up.
Well, they didn't know to begin with, okay? We're talking about two one-horse towns in Portland and Westmoreland, Tennessee, okay? We've got, 12,000 people between the two towns? Well,
it was a battle of the Midway, Bill.
Was that what it was? Okay. Well, let's get our other co-host, Final Girl Casey, in here. Greetings, Casey.
Hello.
And how's your week been?
Not bad. Just looking forward with every moment to this.
Okay, so we don't have very high aspirations in life, so that's
if
good
this
to
was
know.
all I had to look, I'd cry myself to sleep every night.
Yeah, well, welcome to my world, James. Welcome to my world.
I'll also have you know they didn't score one damn touchdown, Bill.
Oh, so we're still in football. That's good, though. I mean, James, I'm proud of you. I actually spoke to the head coach of the Portland High School program the night that the local wrestling event was here at the high school.
They was shaking in their boots because they could see James Brown coming over the horizon down 52.
Yeah, with his red and one shorts on and his camouflage real tree mud boots on.
And them damn Randy Savage shades.
You don't wear those on the sideline, do you?
Oh. Yeah, I have
No.
before. I don't think I wore them Thursday. I think I wore them something else. No,
James,
I did wear them.
like on the sideline while calling plays.
You damn right. That's what I looked at my offensive play sheet with.
James.
Matter of fact, I got a display that comes up in the right eye that's got all the plays on it. A Terminator.
James, you are an embarrassment to me, your family, and this podcast.
Man.
I'm gonna need a picture.
Listen, I can tell you the honest truth.
Oh.
I have never bought a pair of sunglasses that I've got more compliments for than those right there. I walked into BP just the other day, and the cashier said, "There's some cool sunglasses," and I've had them over a year now, and I still get compliments everywhere I go.
They are pretty spectacular, James. They are spectacular spectacles, and I need a picture of them so we can put them up on the Slasher social medias. Well, the both of you have to be pretty bummed out that we don't have the Memphis Maniac Rick with us this week.
We miss you, Rick.
We do.
He was too
miss
much
you.
of a maniac through the week to show up today.
Yeah, he's laid up, sick, probably playing a harmonica, trying to shame his wife into making him some soup or something.
I wish I could miss a damn day of taping Rick.
Taping.
You could.
I mean, you could, James.
No. I'm the damn, whatchamacallit, Iron Man, Bill. I'm like
Yeah.
Bo Jackson.
He got
Farming,
injured and his career ended
football,
early.
Podcasting.
Yeah. Bo Jackson got injured and his career ended early. You probably mean Cal Ripken, but you don't want to
You don't
give any
even-
credit to any baseball players, I'm sure.
You don't even know the half of it, Bill.
Oh.
James is the glue that holds this podcast together.
I'm
Yeah.
the official committee representative for the Parks and Recs for the football team league.
Well, you needed to start putting up slashers and screamers flyers around the parks. Get some listeners to this thing.
I'm comedian, I'm footballing, farming, and podcasting.
You're a damn Renaissance man is what you are. You're Danny DeVito.
That's right, Bill. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, you know what? Understatement of the year.
And I
You
ain't
are
missed
all
a
over the place.
damn minute, Bill.
No, you haven't, and I applaud you for it. I salute you. James, you are appreciated. You are indeed the glue that we're all sniffing.
Crazy glue.
Gorilla glue, if you may.
Elmer's
guys-
glue.
Yeah, well. Guys, a bit of sad news. Over the weekend, we lost actor Fred Ward. who,
I saw that.
Yeah, very sad. If the horror community might remember him as, I believe, was his name Earl in Tremors.
Ooh, I couldn't tell you his name. I just know him from Tremors.
He was Joe Dirt.
Stampede Earl.
Good call. Fred Ward, man, he was one of those guys that maybe he didn't have the most starring roles, but when you saw him, it was always a fun time. Tremors was one of probably my favorite creature features there ever was. And when I think of Fred Ward, I think about the scene in Tremors where they've gotten a slight introduction to the creature, and they're walking across the ground, and he steps off in a hole, and he just screams bloody murder, thinking something's got him, but he just ended up stepping in a hole, and it gets me every time.
He was also Remo Williams, Bill.
He was Remo Williams, bouncing off of everything, fast as could be, man. I might have to rewatch that movie, Remo Williams. I bet Casey has no idea about Remo Williams.
You're right. I do not.
Well, you need to know. If you don't know, you need to know. Well, I guess what we need to do now is talk about what's going on this week in horror, right? Or in this past week. What do we have going on?
Like stuff coming out?
Sure, yeah.
I don't know, Bill. You sent me something, but I ignored it. If I can find it.
Well, what do we have going on, Casey?
I like him
Oh,
coaching.
I thought
Coaching
James was going to
shorts.
say something. I'm sorry.
James is always trying to say something, but
Okay.
I'm about to give me
Well-
some of these shorts right here.
Well, I'm looking forward to Monstrous, which is a supernatural one coming out. Actually, maybe it just came out. I think it came out this week.
yeah, these are new releases. It looks so
Yeah.
good, though, doesn't it?
Monstrous looks fantastic, and it's got Christina Ricci, who I just love in anything.
Oh.
Stop.
What are you doing
I'm
over
trying
there,
to watch
James?
this Monstrous for me.
Well, you don't have to watch it, James.
later.
Casey's telling us about it now.
Now's the best time to watch it.
Casey.
Continue.
It's got Christina Ricci, who I just love and has been in a lot of cool things. Recently, I don't know if any of our listeners got into it, but Yellow Jackets, she was a big part of that show, and it was great. But in this movie, she and her son are trying to escape from her abusive ex, and he's like, from what I can tell, he's like ever looming over the situation, like he might come back. But also, they end up discovering a monster in a nearby lake.
Yeah, and this monster looks, from the trailer that I watched just before the pod, this monster doesn't look like it has any type of set form. It looks pretty wild to me. I'm totally down with watching this film.
Ooh, like The Abyss.
Something like that. This is a little more lagoonish, but
Sure.
this looks like a fun flick. Even though it's supernatural, it's not one of those stupid supernatural flicks where you just got like humans walking around with painted faces. Oh, I'm a ghost. No, this is some kind of creature that looks like it could totally fuck up your day. I'm down with it.
Looks like it might have some tentacles, Bill.
Oh well, not the tentacle type movie that you're used to watching, James, but it might.
You know what also happens next week, Bill?
What happens next week?
Damn, not next week.
You don't even know.
But the week after next. Top Gun 2, Bill.
Damn it, James. We've got it. Ladies and gentlemen, Freddie Loggins.
I'm watching it.
Well,
If there's any scary movie parts in it, I'm putting it on this damn podcast.
If I feel even a little bit scared, I'm putting it on this. James, you just put an airplane movie into this pod, and that's the one.
Well, I'm getting y'all tuned up for Top Gun.
Okay, so
next week.
So basically, in 3 weeks, this podcast is going to be about airplane movies only.
Yeah, Iron Eagle all the way.
I'm picking Point Break, which has airplane scenes, which is enough.
Does it have? Oh, yeah, they jump out. Okay, well, I can go with that. I'll pick Airplane.
May 24th, Bill.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
For all you people in Brazil that like Top Gun, May 24th.
All you people in Brazil that like Top Gun and burritos.
If you're going to watch Top Gun, you got to have a burrito in Brazil.
So we've also got a film called Nightcrawler. Almost said Nightcrawler. This is not Nightcrawler. As a matter of fact, hey, let's jump to Nightcrawler for a second. Did either one of you see Nightcrawler?
I love Nightcrawler. That was my favorite movie that came out that year.
Was it about the...
that I could use a night crawlers when I go fishing, Bill.
Yeah.
I find them under old wood and stuff, get them out of the ground.
But James, we didn't buy any bait. Just flip over that rock, Bill. There's all the bait you need.
I got wood panels laid down right now. I'll collect my night crawlers.
You're a resourceful man, James. I bet you're the kind of guy that's got too much dirt on it, just like sucks it off the night crawler. Throws them on the hook.
Yeah.
You nasty bastard.
Also, the Nightcrawler and the superhero Nightcrawler.
That's what I was asking. So the movie Nightcrawler is not about Nightcrawler from X-Men?
No.
I'm sure.
Shit.
It's about Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, there is a Jake Gyllenhaal Nightcrawler movie, but I think he's just out digging up worms or something.
He is not digging up worms.
And this is how I bait the hook.
This is how I get the biggest worms.
It's Nightcrawler, the Bill Dance story. God. Okay, that went over some heads. I'm going fishing. So we got another film called Nightcaller coming out, and this one's about a telephone psychic named Clementine Carter. I really appreciate when they've got what do you call it when they all start with the same letter?
Oh my darling, Clementine.
That's not how it goes, James.
That's what it reminds me of.
Well, me too.
She's lost and gone forever. Oh my darling, Clementine.
It's amazing you didn't have a career in singing. You know, when I hear you sing, James.
I can do it, Bill.
Well, I mean, when I hear you sing, it reminds me, of how talented the original artists really are. What is it called when you've got alliteration? That's what I'm looking for. I like alliteration.
Synonyms.
Yes. Telephone psychic Clementine Carter's pulled into a complex web of mystery when she receives a call from a serial killer. I like these type of movies. Phone Booth. The one with Halle Berry. Cell phone. But predicting his murders before he commits them puts her into a terrifying game of cat and mouse. I like a good psychic movie, too. Enlisting the aid of her invalid father and clairvoyant co-worker, more alliteration, they must use their unique abilities to stay one step ahead of a maniac whose unspeakable acts in the present are nothing compared to his past and future. And this one's got Bai Ling. Chinese actress from, was it Red Corner with Richard Gere? Old Dick Gere?
Never heard of her.
Fuck. But you know, this is the second movie that we just talked about that's also got Lou Temple. I don't know if you guys noticed that Lou Temple was in Monstrous, but he's also in Nightcaller.
Well, you think if they're clairvoyant, it'd be pretty easy to stay one step ahead of everybody.
Well, that's not really how clairvoyance works, James. You get some of the info, but not all the info. That's the misunderstood part of being a psychic. And I knew you were going to ask that. So,
Well, that's stupid.
ain't it? I mean, I wouldn't even brag about having half knowledge. Hell, I can halfway tell you about something now.
Well, that's me. I can tell you what's going to happen
I mean,
before it ever happens.
Yeah, I bet James is going to clear his throat here in 5 minutes.
Probably.
Do I know it's going to happen? No, but I got an educated guess. James, if you could pick one superpower to have, what would it be?
Whatchamacallit? Unlimited strength.
Oh, you've already got that, James. What about you, Casey?
A superpower? I would probably do the Mystique thing and be able to adapt.
Okay.
She'd be able to eat pizza rolls straight out of the oven.
That'd be up there.
Pretty good, James. That reminds me of a joke, though, guys. This is stop me if I've told this one before, but so Superman, he's flying around and he's looking at window to window, which is kind of creepy, but he sees Wonder Woman laying naked on the bed. So he's like, man, I could use my supersonic speed, get down there and knock that out and get out before anybody knows what happens. So he rushes down there, just bop, 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 and then he's out. He's back out the window, and she raises up and says, what the hell was that? And the Invisible Man says, I don't know, but it wore my ass out.
Oh, man, I've heard that joke before, and I just knew the punchline was coming. Gets him every time, Bill.
I thought it would, James.
Just like old Fred Ward falling in that hole.
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh,
man.
Casey doesn't seem to appreciate the jokes. That's why she can't be my best friend, James.
You can go to hell.
Hey, this was James's words, not mine.
And now you're putting them into.
It's not low enough. Her IQ's not low enough to be your friend.
Your IQ, you are too smart to be my best friend, Casey. I can only punch downward. I can't punch upward. God, where were we?
I don't know, but I was outside earlier and got a sniff of honeysuckles. It smelled so good.
So you rubbed them on your underarms.
Oh, man.
Well, Casey,
I just stood there and smelled it in.
All right, old Jeepers Creepers over here. Casey, I thought about you when I pulled this next movie out of... well, first, I need to give credit to upcominghorrormovies.com. This is where we're getting our info on.
You only sent me one movie.
Well, yeah, because I wanted you to look into it, but no. You want to just leave me on red. I'm sick of it, James. I'm tired of it. You think just because I've known you for 35 years means you can leave me on red? I demand you acknowledge my feeling.
I didn't understand what was going on.
Well, a man sends you a link, you click it. Rooney! Casey, I thought about you when I pulled this next movie out, and it's called Shark Bait. I know you love a good shark movie.
I do.
I know you love movies about being lost in the deep.
I love any kind of like animal horror feature. And
being consumed by said animal is always at the forefront of your fears. Yes.
Sounds scary.
Yeah. Well, this group of spring breakers are enjoying a trip of a lifetime to the sandy beaches of Mexico. As the sun rises after a night of partying, they steal a couple of jet skis. They stole them, guys, so they might have deserved all this. And they race out to sea, but bravado and bad decisions, more alliteration, bravado and bad decisions lead to a terrifying accident. From the trailer.
That sounds like a Saturday night for me, Bill.
That's just a regular... Hell, James, it's really more like a Wednesday for you. But stranded miles from shore, the true horror begins when the group realizes they've drifted into shark-infested waters. Casey's ears perk up. With no way back.
Sounds scary.
with no way back and one friend badly bleeding, and you don't want to be bleeding in the middle of the ocean with sharks around, the group must quickly figure out how to survive the predator lurking in the waters below. This one actually looks really good. It kind of gives me vibes from, what's that one where they fall off the boat and their ladder's way up there and they can't reach it?
Oh,
There was a sequel.
is it Open Water?
Open Water. Thank you.
Right.
Open Water. Do you ever see Open Water, James?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, just know that I'd be dead in 5 minutes in that movie. That's not one I'm surviving. I'm somebody who can swim a mile, cannot tread water to save my own life. Is that the dumbest thing in the world?
Why?
Actually,
Why?
yes. Yeah,
How?
I actually failed a test. Failed a swimming test in boot camp. Navy boot camp, obviously, because there's a lot of water. One of our tests was tread water for a minute or 2 minutes and then swim a lap around the pool. The lap could not have gotten there fast enough. I cannot tread water, but I can swim in a straight line for, could anyway. I can't say I can, but I could back then. Could swim in a straight line for forever, but can't just like float there and stay above water.
How can you not? I don't understand how you can't tread water.
You know what, Casey? You want to fucking judge me?
No, I'm genuinely
Don't holler.
surprised because, like, I don't know what would.
It's a
I'm
tough
trying
one,
to
Casey.
figure out-
If I could figure it out, I would not have failed the test. I would fail this test today. I don't know why I can't try, because the thing is, it's not just you in an endless, pool of water. There's, 50 other sailors doing it as well. So it's not like I can just like swim around for a little bit. I have to be in like basically one little 3x3 area of water and keep myself afloat. Yeah,
Sounds like a
Yeah,
lie
it's
to
just
me, Bill.
interesting.
You know what, James? I tell only the truth here. And another truth is the film Homebound. This is the last one that I pulled out, but this is a UK horror flick. A trip to the countryside turns frightening for a father and his new fiancée when they arrive to find his ex-wife is missing and the kids acting strange. I don't really know how to compare this one to anything else unless we're talking about The Visit. Remember The Visit from Shyamalan?
I do. I did not love that one.
You didn't love it? I like that one quite a bit. What did you not like about it?
The
Other
younger
than Grandma
boy,
showing her ass all the time.
You think I didn't like that?
Well, okay.
The younger boy was incredibly annoying to a point where it took me out of the movie, and I also have a propensity to feel anxious around old people anyway, so I don't typically enjoy movies where the villains are old people.
Yeah,
Like, I've never watched The Taking of Deborah Logan because I'm genuinely scared of that concept.
like before she's even taken, right? It's like, this old
Kinda,
woman
yeah.
is hideous. This kind of gives me the vibes from that movie. Maybe, I mean, here's the thing. The guy's going to recognize his own kids, okay? So there's no mistaken identity there. But the kids are acting strange. It almost starts out, or at least a trailer anyway, it makes it seem like it starts out with some teenagers maybe really not taking to the new girlfriend. But yes, there's something amiss here, and it looks like a really, really cool flick that I might have to check out. Tom Goodman-Hill, Aisling Loftus, and Rafaela Chapman star in this one. And all these flicks that we just talked about, they are out right now. Right now. So check them out wherever you can. And once again, thank you to upcominghorrormovies.com for the fine summaries of these new releases. So James, this flick we're reviewing today, Shadow in the Clouds, this was your pick. Why?
It's wild, Bill. Wild.
It is wild. It is very
I
wild.
thought it was a pretty good movie, Bill.
Well, it's like you didn't sit on this one for very long, though. You basically were told, hey, it's your turn to pick a movie, and you said, oh, shit. And then you said, hey, let's do this one. You didn't sit and think about it very long. So I think this is something you'd seen recently. Well, I mean, it's a 2020 flick, so of course you probably saw it pretty recently. But so you saw it probably around the time that I told you, hey, it's your turn to pick a flick. Am I wrong?
I think I'd seen it probably 2 or 3 weeks before you said anything.
Okay, and it stuck with you for those 3 weeks.
Maybe. Yeah, I've been trying to get you to watch it for a month.
Well, hang on, Jane. No, we're not doing this. All right. We are not doing this. I'm not playing your little reindeer games. You only saw it a couple, 3 weeks before, and you've been trying to get me to watch it for a month. Math don't add up. Even my Westmoreland, Tennessee math. So what gives? This doesn't seem like the type of flick that you would bring forth to the podcast, James.
Well, wouldn't I, Bill?
Well,
it's got airplanes and monsters, World War II.
Okay.
You know, I like a good period piece, Bill.
Period piece, yes. This is definitely 18th century France. But
any period, Bill.
Any period. 2020, doesn't matter. Well, guys, this one has one of my favorite young actresses in Chloe Grace Moretz. Casey?
Billy?
You got to be down with Chloe Grace, right?
I like her. Yeah.
Just kind of give or take or leave? Or are you a big fan?
No, I wouldn't say I go out of my way to see her movies, but the ones I've seen her in, I thought she was likable enough, you know?
Okay. Well, here's my opinion.
A good job. I didn't hate the Carrie remake. I thought Julianne Moore, fantastic, per usual.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Chloe Grace Moretz did a solid job.
I would agree with that. My opinion on Chloe Grace is, unlike so many, I mean, it's easy for, guys, or I guess anybody who just appreciates the female form, to say, hey, this young hot actress is, that's my favorite one. Oh, she's hot. I'm going to watch. Listen, Chloe Grace Moretz looks completely fine. I mean, you got to call her the Hammer, if not her, the one of the Gremlins. But Chloe Grace Moretz is, a beautiful young actress. However, I find myself simply loving her acting chops. We've seen her basically go from Kick-Ass to I'm trying to think of some of the ones that she did when she was a younger
Amityville
actress.
Horror, the remake of Amityville.
Thank you, Amityville Horror. Then you've got
500 Days of Summer.
The Fifth Wave, Let Me In. Again, you said the Carrie remake, If I Stay. She played the standoffish teenage daughter in Dark Shadows. I'm here to tell y'all. She's hilarious
in 30 Rock. She's in a few episodes of that, and she's really funny in that.
Never saw the episodes that she was in 30 Rock. I'm going to have to check that out. But I'm here to tell you guys, I firmly believe that Chloe Grace Moretz is going to be the next generation's Meryl Streep. Okay?
Damn.
She's got it. She has got it. Okay, she looks great. She does different type of roles. She doesn't just play the same character in everything that she's in. She's literally growing as an actress before our eyes, and I love her part in everything that I've seen her in. Maybe not in Kick-Ass. I don't care about, silly flicks like that. But everything she's done. Okay, well,
you love silly flicks like that. Maybe not that one in particular.
I do. I just didn't like Kick-Ass. But
dang, Bill, get it together.
I'm sorry, but Chloe Grace is going to be the next Meryl Streep. I'm here to tell you. Academy Awards are coming her way. Then you got Nick Robinson. Don't know much about him, but I know that he co-starred in The Fifth Wave. He was in Jurassic World and The Kings of Summer.
He's in what was that cute movie he was in? He's in, oh my god, I can't think of the name of the movie, but it was good. It was the one where he plays a gay character. Love, Simon. He was in Love, Simon.
I have no idea I have no idea what that movie is.
It's cute. It's I think Jennifer Garner is the mom, and then it's got him and some, I don't know, other people. But it was a cute movie.
So it's not a monologue. Gotcha. Okay, so this flick was directed by Roseanne Lang. Known most for her writing work on the short Do No Harm, as well as My Wedding and Other Secrets. She's also, going to be maybe directing. I'm not sure what her part in this is, but it's in the live action adaptation of the animated series Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I did not know this was happening. Did you guys know this?
No, I never watched the original show though.
You never watched the original?
No, and my brothers both love it and have been telling me to watch it for years, and I just haven't made it.
Well, you know what? Why don't you just back out of this one and let's get your brothers on, okay? Because they got a little bit more fucking sense than you do. Okay, Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the most fine modern animated shows there ever was. It's deep.
Good things.
Yeah, it's fantastic. James, Where you stand on Avatar, The Last Airbender, not the blue people. I feel like I need to say that because you might try to go in the direction of the blue people.
The only know I know. The only thing I know.
The only thing
I know is that kid had a bald head. Now, whether it was for airbender abilities or what, I don't know.
Well, his head was more aerodynamic, so yeah, probably.
But I ain't never seen a lot of it.
James, I just need to know something.
What?
This is completely unrelated. Why the hell do I get a Facebook message from you that's a meme of a couple of guys standing back to back, pointing guns, and it says, "Me and my buddy backing out of Cracker Barrel after I called Ronald Reagan a pussy."
That was the last time we went to Cracker Barrel.
Okay. Hey, Casey, where do you stand on Ronald Reagan? Just kidding.
That would be a longer podcast, actually.
I don't know a lot about him, but
He's a pussy. Okay, we don't want to upset Final Girl Mom. She might be a Ronnie Reagan fan.
We're not
The
going to get
actor?
into that on the podcast right now.
Let's call her. What's her number?
She's on vacation. We're leaving her alone.
are
Excuse me?
Brazilians Republicans or Democrats?
I think they are split just like everywhere else. So the original screenplay of Shadow in the Cloud was written by Max Landis. I don't know if that's Landy or Landis, but
Got rewrote, though, because he sucks.
a trillion times, apparently, according to Chloe Grace. And I believe her. Okay, I don't believe you two, but I believe Chloe Grace. And, so it was heavily rewritten during pre-production by our director, Roseanne Lang, due to a lot of allegations made against Landis, so he's a pretty shitty human. Ling and this is coming from IMDb, I believe. Ling and lead star Chloe Grace Moretz say Landis was completely distanced from the production and that his screenplay was rewritten several times before filming began. However, Landis claims that about 90% of his script is still his, or of the script is still his. I don't believe it, but whatever, You read about, these on-set personalities and their outlandish behavior, and you kind of hate that it happens, especially with, well, I don't want to say a mostly female cast. There's really only one female that I can think of in this whole cast, right? There's not another one that snuck in there. I don't know
Unless that baby's secretly a girl.
Yeah, I don't know about the gremlins either. But, the animated short at the beginning of this one, did that ever look familiar to you guys? The animation with the gremlin and the little cartoon guy?
It did not.
Well, it was based on something called Private Snafu. Okay, Snafu stands for Situation Normal All Fucked Up, and these are military acronyms. Of course, it has to be with such a fucked up acronym. But these are basically instructional short videos meant to educate, your enlisted folks on different, military, etiquette. Everything from being combat ready to just their daily life, almost like an instructional, something easy to watch and not look away from. But those were made between 43 and 45, so they had to have gotten the idea just because of the time the time frame that this film was supposedly set in. And I specifically remember back when I was a kid watching this Bugs Bunny cartoon called Falling Hair, and I found this in IMDb as well. I remember the last line of that where the plane is hitting a nosedive and Bugs Bunny and this gremlin are about to die, and it just suddenly stops before it hits the ground. But, Bugs is trying to prevent this gremlin from crashing or otherwise destroying his airplane. And, the cartoon is kind of popularized, with for military concerns about quote-unquote gremlins. Now, a gremlin is not a literal term. Gremlins were supposed to be any type of flaws in your airplane, in your equipment that was unrecognized, something that you just didn't have an explanation for, something misfiring, you don't know why, a gremlin got it. Kind of cool little piece of information.
I thought it was cool, Bill.
It was cool, and you were probably thinking it was about real gremlins, trying to give me a history lesson on, hey, gremlins took over. Listen, The only gremlins that took over the military were in the form of something called the WASP, W-A-S-P. These are Women Air Force Service Pilots. You know about these, Casey? This might be a really good story to learn.
Honestly, when they said WASP, I thought the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant thing, so I had to look it up to see what they were talking about.
You know how I love a good acronym fuck up, right?
I was like, why do they keep saying that? It seems overdone.
The Anglo-Saxons.
What's worse than a gremlin on a plane?
A woman on a plane.
A woman
Oh
on
my
a plane.
God.
Oh, God.
They need to keep her feet on the ground, Bill.
That's right, James. I'm tired
Y'all
of it.
keep your fucking feet on the ground.
I would gladly, because I want no place on an airplane anyway. I'll let her fly it. Fuck it. No, but during World War II, I mean, you read up on it, Casey, but I guess, the listeners should, be informed as well. Since I was just informed, I didn't know this before, we did the podcast today. But WASPs, Women Air Force Service Pilots, was created by the Air Force, U.S. Air Force. And these pilots would, more than 1,100 of them flew military aircraft, everything from single to multi-engine aircraft, from non-combat transport and spotters to fighters and bombers, including like the B-50, the B-17, the B-26, and the B-29 bombers. There was a guy named Henry Arnold. I don't know if you read this case, but you'll get some satisfaction out of it. He said that he wasn't sure whether a slip of a girl could fight the controls of a B-17 in heavy weather. Okay, I'm on his side here, Casey. But later on, he had to eat his humble pie and admitted how wrong he was. And he said now, in 1944, it is on the record that women can fly as well as any man. They just can't park.
You know what? I want to start a fight with you.
Listen, I don't want to hear shit.
Fucking park, so.
I was gonna say, these women can, they can fly out of a hailstorm, but Casey, Final Girl Casey, can send your Mustang into outer space almost.
Final Girl Mom used to fly helicopters. I can barely drive a car.
Listen, James, you'll love this. We were in the office and somebody, I guess, had some work to do and they wanted Casey to move their car from a lease.
They had a back issue.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. I was thinking
Yeah.
they were on the phones or something. But Casey was asked politely to move my car from the upper part of the parking lot down to the lower part so they could have an easier time getting out to their ride during the nighttime. And what happened, Casey?
She drove. What kind of car was that, Billy?
I believe it was a Mustang. Oh, was it not?
No,
a Mustang?
it was a Dodge something.
Like a Charger?
Maybe it was like a faster looking car than anything I've ever been behind the wheel on.
Yeah.
And at the time, I think I drove a Chevy Cobalt, and that car was such a total piece of shit that I wasn't used to driving a nice car.
No acceleration.
No acceleration. Horrible
For it to
acceleration.
Get to 30. Yeah.
Exactly. So I got to back this car out of the parking spot so I could drive it down to the front of the building. And I hit the gas like I'm hitting the gas for my Chevy Cobalt. I came so close to slamming into the cars behind me, just knocking them out of the way. Scared me to death.
Just a tap of the pedal.
But I texted one of our mutual friends about it and described it as, what was it? Flew into the moon?
You said, no, the terms that you use were, I barely touched this gas pedal and I almost flew into outer space.
Yeah.
and our friend, we'll call her Brittany, said she laughed for half an hour and she would stop and then think about it and then start laughing again. So that is a story that I always appreciate about you, Casey.
Thank you. I'm a bad driver, everybody.
Well, but Casey is the exception, not the rule, okay? Final Girl Mom's out there flying choppers, okay? So, Final Girl Mom, we appreciate you and thank you for your service.
Get to the chopper. No.
Put the cookie down. So the plot of this one, and what I love about this film is, again, 1943. Our main character, played by Chloe Grace Moretz, very modern name. Her name in this film is Maud. It's fucking Maud. Could Maud be the Chloe Grace of 1943? Oh, yeah,
Maud
it's Maud.
is an actress's name right now. Maud Apatow is doing big shit in Euphoria.
Is that a real person's name right now, Maud?
Yeah, Judd
A young
Apatow's
person?
daughter. Yeah, she's, I don't know, probably early 20s maybe. I'll look it up.
I believe that because people today are giving their children, like old-fashioned names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's 24. Okay, so early 20s, yeah.
Yeah, I call that
Mauled apple toe.
Euphoria. I have not watched Euphoria. Don't think I will. But
I don't think you'd like it.
yeah, I don't think I would either. But Maud Garrett is a female flight officer, and usually the female adjective would not be relevant here, but the treatment that she gets later on does make it quite, need to know. But she's assigned to travel with a top secret document case, I guess, from the Auckland, New Zealand to Samoa flight on this bomber. As soon as she gets there, though, she's she witnesses a ground crew ramper, I guess. He just disappears into the night before she lays eyes on her transport, which is a B-17 bomber, christened the Fool's Errand. Now, you always want to name your bomber. It's bad luck to not give your bomber a name. But is this supposed to be an ironic name for the aircraft? If so, I didn't get it.
Yeah, I didn't really understand the name here, unless they were just saying, like, they were guaranteed to die or something.
Yeah, maybe. You would think the other side, during that time had kamikaze pilots, and, like, those guys were lost causes. Not to them, but, they were going to ultimately meet their demise. I don't think that was the design here, but it does make you wonder, especially since you could name this thing anything you want to for your movie. You have to wonder, does it have some kind of subliminal meaning, for the plot of our film? I was confused by it, but I wanted to see if you guys had any insight on maybe what it could mean. I might have missed something. Everybody's got blind spots, guys. I've got more than most. I don't have more than James.
I don't know about that one.
Well, the bomber's crew doesn't give her a very good welcome.
They suck.
They very much suck. But they put her down in what's called the Sperry. Okay, it's that little chamber underneath, the aircraft.
Looks like Willy Wonka's Great Glass Elevator.
It very much looks like it. But there's no room in there for her and her document bag. I don't believe that whatsoever because she had a lot of room to move around.
Yeah, she had some wiggle room.
She had
could
plenty
have
of wiggle
put
room.
the bag in there.
Put it in your lap, you know what I mean? If it's that important, and we will find out later why it's so important. But right now, it's a document bag. That's all we know. But she does reluctantly allow the only crew member who's been nice to her, Walter, to hold on to it. Or not really hold on to it, but store it for her. So it's stowed away. Walter's taking care of her, kind of, but everybody else is being pretty shitty. At this point, we're given very little information about what's going on other than we're going from New Zealand to Samoa, and I'm on this flight with these shitty dudes. Which is kind of what you'd expect from, unsupervised military personnel. I know firsthand. I don't give a fuck. But
we should emphasize, she has an accent.
She has got an accent, and I don't know really where to nail that accent down from.
It didn't sound New Zealand-y.
Yeah, it didn't sound like it was from the Outback or New Zealand. It sounded like it could have been British. I don't know all the intricacies of different British accents. It wasn't Cockney, I can tell you that. We need to ask her friend at work.
She's not there anymore.
Is she not there anymore? Damn.
Yeah, which means we can talk about her on the podcast now.
So James, you know this. Okay? I'm going ham. I don't give a motherfuck. Okay? James, you know about this. Casey, you know well too much about this.
But I think the audience would like to know about this.
Okay, this is like going to be the best thing. Fuck this movie. This is the best thing that you're going to hear on... No, really, this is going to be the best thing that you hear on this podcast ever. Okay? So, to lay some groundwork, Rick, Casey, and I were employed at one time by the same company. And James and I went to the same high school.
Oh, that's right. So he knows her too.
He knows her
maybe.
too. Yeah, he does. So one day you know, James, you know, and if you don't remember, you're gonna remember in a few. But I'm sitting there minding my business, hacking away at my keyboard, doing my work, and then all of a sudden somebody comes by and says, "Hey, didn't I know you from school?" And like I heard a slight accent, but I also remembered that in school this girl had somewhat of a speech impediment, like kids do. Okay, kids always have speech impediments. Like every kid in the world has had a speech impediment. No kid talks normally. But I thought, maybe she didn't get it taken care of. Okay, so full disclosure, our town was not a very high income town. Okay, a lot of people just made do with what they had, and if your kid's got a speech impediment, you just work through it. Maybe you can't afford to get, speech therapy or whatever. I don't know. Don't judge. So I thought, well, okay, she didn't grow out of the speech impediment and it never got taken care of. Whatever. So I just said, hey, yeah, I remember you. Your name is XYZ. And she says, well, I go by XYZ now. Okay, cool. You want to reinvent yourself? No problem. So later on, it's out of sight, out of mind at this point, right? I didn't think about the girl. I didn't think about the speech impediment. I didn't think about the accent. One of our other mutual friends, I don't want to call her by her real name, so I'll make up one. No, I won't.
Make up one that's kind of... Who is it?
Well, we'll say one of our mutual friends who is a manager at the company. We'll call her Sally.
Ah.
Shut up. When Sally comes up and says, so, hello, Governor. We've got a new representative, and she's from England. And I said, really? From England? Okay. Yeah, from Liverpool. Okay, cool. So she's from Liverpool. What is her name? Her name is XYZ, and I'm like, hold the fuck up. I'm XYZ. We'll call her
Jane.
We'll call her Jane. Is not from Liverpool. Jane is from Westmoreland, Tennessee. How do I know? Because she rode the same school bus I did from the time she was in kindergarten until the time I moved from the home where my school bus picked me up. So no, like my sister and her sister were like the best of friends and ate lunch together every day at school. I didn't know that until later because I had to call my sister and say, hey, you remember
Jane?
Remember Jane's family? They're not from England, right? I don't think so. Why? No reason. So here I am thinking, like I'm just dumbfounded, and I'm trying to figure out what on earth would make a person completely fake an accent.
My first thought was head injury, remember?
Your thought was head injury. My thought was maybe trying to escape some childhood trauma. Want to reinvent herself. So I didn't push, the thing. I never went to her and I said, Jane, why? You know me. Like you came up to me and you said, hey, aren't you Billy Graves from Westmoreland? And I said, yes. So we've determined that we know each other. Why are you still doing this accent like I don't know you?
Didn't you say another childhood friend of yours called her on it?
Yes. Another one, we'll call her Danielle, called her out on it and said, hey, why the fuck are you doing that? And apparently, that never got resolved. She just like, shut the fuck up, and they split ways or whatever. But yeah, it was quite perplexing because I've never ever known someone to like, sure, change your first name, change your last name, change your first name, last name, whatever you have to do to reinvent yourself as a human in 2021, which it was. But to invent a whole persona and assign an accent to it, and then give your dad a backstory as well. Well, he's from Liverpool. I'm from here, but, my dad's from Liverpool. I was beside myself trying to figure it out.
It's attention. She wanted attention.
It's
because the accent
probably
also was wildly inconsistent and not always British.
It maybe not, but I remember another friend, we'll call her Jennifer. I couldn't think of a fake one, so we'll just call her Jennifer.
Oh, this is who I was thinking of before.
No. Sally sounds like the girl's real name.
No. The other girl, when we were talking, you said Danielle.
No,
I thought you were talking about Jennifer.
No, I was not talking about Jennifer. I was talking about
Gotcha.
somebody else that went to school with me. But Jennifer told me one day, she says, hey, she asked permission to go to the loo. And I said, the what? The loo? Is, oh, I forgot. You guys call it a restroom. So you've lived and grown up here in Tennessee, and you've forgotten that we say restroom here? How embedded into this character have you become?
This girl was a trip.
A complete trip. And, like, I thought, how long are you going to be able to keep that facade up? And then luckily, because I work for a department that is on the, I guess, technical side of the company in data analysis, I get to kind of pull calls and listen to the audio for quality issues. And I had to pull some calls to check the quality issues in that accent. And it came and went. The accent came and went. And I just couldn't understand it for the life of me. I stopped trying to understand it. But it's one of the wildest things I've ever encountered.
Bill.
Tell me, James. And don't do it in a fake accent.
If somebody wants to be British, they can be British.
Well, the British probably have something to say about that.
What's it bothering you, Bill?
Because she knew me, James. She came in.
What if I come to your house and I'm Brazilian all of a sudden?
Oh, you see, James, I think secretly you want to be Brazilian.
You gonna damn say something to me about it?
Yes, I am. You better believe that once you close that door behind you, we're having a conversation. And then we're dancing the samba for hours until the night is over.
Rochambeau
for your balls.
Yeah, what's that Brazilian dance fighting?
Capoeira? Did you say Rochambeau? God. Yeah, we're gonna do capoeira out. I'm gonna challenge you to
a fight in my heritage dance.
Well, you and Gabriela Marines can both bite the bullet, because I've got nothing on you two with capoeira. But James, yes, there's a problem. If you came up to me in public and just started talking to me in a different accent than I've known you for 30 years, then yeah, I'm going to have questions.
What if you hadn't seen them in a while and they've been overseas or something?
Okay, that is another one of the explanations that we came up with. Like, what if this is what happened? Because, truthfully, I was stationed in San Diego for a number of years, right? When I came back home, I saw a guy that we went to school with named Wes. And he says, hey, where have you been? I said, San Diego. And he says, yeah, I can tell. Because I kind of lost my hillbilly accent a little bit. Like, maybe I still sounded like a hillbilly to those in San Diego, but to hillbillies like you and Casey, you could probably notice that, I'd been out of Tennessee for a while. So I did consider that. But the problem is the girl had been working at Walmart from the time we graduated high school until that point. So no, it's not going to fly. Anything else, James?
I don't guess. Looks like you got it all covered.
Don't hate me, James. Hate the one doing the accent.
Well, that's pretty weird, but to each their own.
Okay, that's all I wanted to hear from you, James.
I'll not stand in the way if somebody wants to be an English person.
She could have picked a totally different place, though. I would have picked New Zealand. Walk around like a bushwhacker.
I would have picked Brazil.
Billy just would have done a William Shatner impression the whole time.
There's someone on the wing. Something. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Kind of like this movie.
Yes. So there was like something that, I guess fast forwarding a little bit, you see the creature out on the wing of the plane, and that's exactly what comes to mind.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's, for those of you who might not be familiar, that's a Twilight Zone episode, and it's a really good one. And
it's been updated once, since then. Shatner did it back in the...
Was John Lithgow the one?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Both did bang-up jobs in their respective... I guess you call them, they're not called skits, they're shorts though. But yeah,
this is reminiscent of that.
So reminiscent of it, and like I may have done a Shatner impression while watching this film. But Maude
definitely did.
Okay, well, words are important. I definitely did multiple times if we have to get down to it. But while stuck in the turret, Maud, she sees this creature kind of clinging to the underside of the plane's wing, which she reports to the crew. And do they believe her? No,
because they're a bunch of misogynistic assholes.
They are misogynistic assholes, and Beckel actually agrees with her. He believes it because I think he sees it. Does he not? Actually, he saw it, but he dismissed it. Basically, that's the part I'm confused
I think he
about.
assumed that he was like seeing something and that he had like mistaken something.
Yeah, that's okay. That's probably right. But when
she seemed more confident in the fact that she had seen this thing.
Oh, she knows what she saw. She's down there firsthand. It basically licked her face. But when she's allowed to exit the turret, the hatch kind of malfunctions and she's trapped down in there. And when she reacts, I guess indignant about the crew's comments to her situation, they basically give up on trying to open the hatch, and like they cut her comms off, and she's basically down there to fend for herself. Nobody's really taking any heed to her warnings. But after seeing a Japanese scouting plane kind of appearing and disappearing in the clouds, really close to where they are, she gets attacked by this gremlin, and it is a fantastic looking little creature. Something definitely fed this thing after midnight, got it wet, hit it with some bright lights. I don't know what happened. Tried to sell it a bathroom buddy. But she fights the thing off, and she ends up injured. And, when
it looks like a mix between a bat and a rat.
And a monkey, because it's got a little tail.
Oh, it does have a tail, huh? With giant claws.
Oh, yeah, huge claws and, like, really bad teeth. But, the crew contacts her again to ask about what happened. A radio message comes in telling that Ahmad Garrett does not exist and is not registered for her flight. Now, this is where things kind of take a crazy turn. They start to understand things a little bit. You knew that something was up. She wasn't just there to, point A to point B and a monster's coming. There's got to be more twists and turns in there, right? But when they intend to take her out for questioning, Maud deliberately jams the turret's gears, and she posts up to defend herself when the Japanese plane reappears and attacks. So you got more than one enemy. You got the plane and you got the gremlin. She takes control of the turret and she shoots the plane down, which kind of gets some respect from the crew. So James, could you have used a little bit more gremlin in this film?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like Maud has things coming from all directions. There's the misogyny of the crew, there's the gremlin, there's the enemy fighter pilots, and it feels like they each get a similar sized slice of the pie. I feel like the misogyny could have been half and half with the gremlin, could have done without the fighter pilots, maybe one or two scenes or something, but I feel like I need more gremlin in this creature feature. Because these are some.
With that completely.
Yeah, these are some slick little creatures, though. Like, they would have been great as, like, primary enemy. James, you did a good job picking this film.
Movie kind of gave me, though.
What kind of vibes?
I bet you could guess.
Well, I'm thinking about gremlins, but...
Well, not gremlins, but consider, like, a woman in a very, like, closed-in environment, doubted by her crew members, seeing a creature that no one else is initially seeing. Nobody believes her. What does that sound like?
Yes. I know.
You're gonna say something fucking stupid. That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay, fine. I'll go the right route and say Alien.
Alien?
Yeah.
It has Alien vibes.
Maud is most certainly the Ripley of this film. And I can see that. Of
course.
I could definitely see that. Man, there are probably some more parallels that could be drawn with that as well. I mean, there's plenty of... listen, there's no Hammer Tom Skerritt in this film.
Whoa. Who do you think is the Hammer in Alien? Tom Skerritt?
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw myself through your window.
Listen. Tom Skerritt... Well, ain't it though, James? I mean, like, listen, differing opinions for different people, you know. Like, I am a 40-year-old heterosexual male, and I'm here to tell you right now, pre-buzzcut Tom Skerritt is hard to fucking deal with. He is a problem.
Weaver is right there.
He is a... She is right there. Look at her. Just look at her. Tom Skerritt with that long hair is somebody who cannot be dealt with. Sigourney Beaver was great, though. Like, it could be like 1A and 1B. She'd be the B, though.
No.
Forbid. No, we're kidding. Listen, we can agree to disagree all day, but there is no Tom Skerritt in this film.
We hardly see the men of this movie.
Oh, we see enough of them.
We see too much of them, if you ask me.
I mean, this could be just a 1v10 situation, but you got to have some cannon fodder, right?
I know. But I kind of liked the solo thing with her just in the little stuck thing. Like, that was scary to me when the gremlin was trying to, like, break into the Great Glass Elevator. And she's just in there and, like, hearing the guys talking. Like, it was more scary for me when it was an isolated journey.
Well, it's not isolated anymore because as Maude is continuing to conversate with the crew, we find out some very important information about Maude. She is not who she says she is, as we said before. She admits that she is actually married and used her maiden name as, her registration, I guess. But she's still refusing to tell about her mission, citing that it's confidential, and that's believable. But then, of course, she sees a gremlin as it continues to sabotage the plane, much like the Twilight Zone. And eventually Dorn, who's another one of the assholes up top, he cites it too, but the others kind of disregard him. So now it's, they're 0-2. But they're suspecting that Maude's assignment to the cause, or to be the cause for everything that's going down. So they're kind of, I don't want to say they're piling on her, but, Reeves gives the order to open the bag. And she's, continuously, please don't open the bag. Please don't open the bag. Please don't open the bag. And what is in the fucking bag, Casey?
A baby.
A human child. James, I could not be prepared any less for this twist.
It was wild, Bill. Wild, I tell you.
Maybe the dingo ate your baby.
That dingo did eat that lady's baby, and it's really sad to read about.
I was trying to go the Elaine Bennis route, but no, we're going to go a little bit deeper, aren't we?
Oh, yeah?
Well, not only is there a baby in this bag, there's a baby in the bag. This baby belongs to Maude and one of the crew members, fucking Quaid. They had an affair because Maude's husband is also dickish, and he treats her bad. So Maude and Quaid...
Sucks.
Yeah, he sucks too. And Maude and Quaid, they had a little, they ended up doing the hibbity-dibbity, all right? And she ended up having child. And there they are. And we know this because Quaid says, like, give me my baby, or something like that. And they're like, what do you mean, your baby? Craziest thing in the world. It's wild, James, just like you said. So basically, Maude is trying to escape her husband, who was at the base.
She's taken several steps to do so.
Several steps. And she, deciding not to tell Quaid, who's the father of the baby, Maude faked her assignment to get away from her husband before he came to kill her. And probably the baby. But just
Which
as...
is crazy.
Oh, it's absolutely crazy. And, there's some crazy scenes in this film, just visual scenes. Some outstanding work. There are a couple of times when Maude has to save the bag from obvious sure death because it's just hanging there, flapping in the wind as a gremlin's trying to eat it alive. But, just as Captain Reeves, turns, back to the air base, 3 more enemy pilots, they come in and the gremlin, boards the bomber. He injures Quaid and kidnaps the baby. When the gremlin appears before Maude with the baby in the bag, she exits the turret and fires her handgun at it. It kind of drives it off, but it leaves the bag hanging, just like I said, flapping in the wind, kind of hanging from the hull. Risking that climb, though, Maude retrieves the baby and, gets back on the plane through, the opening for the now blown off Sperry. I didn't even know what that was called until today, a Sperry. But the gremlin attacks again, and throws Taggart out of the plane. Taggart's the guy that looks like a dude from The Princess Bride. Inconceivable. But during this scene, Chloe Grace falls out of the plane, is hit with an explosion from underneath, and gets thrown back through the plane. One of the craziest scenes I've ever seen. but I
Yeah,
loved
that
it.
was pretty silly.
It was pretty silly. A lot of this movie's silly, though.
Yeah, that was a point where I was like, okay.
Well,
I don't know. The gremlin I can handle, the baby in the box, whatever.
oh, wait a minute. You
Getting-
can handle a gremlin, but can't handle an explosion knocking you back up through a hole.
Correct.
Okay. I just want to know where we draw the line for absurdity.
Yep.
Good Lord.
Can't have nothing nice, James. Can't have nothing nice.
It's a damn scary movie. What do you expect?
Let a woman get blown up through the hull of a plane, James, right?
I've put up with damn a hockey mask wielding idiot,
Oh, wait a minute.
madman hanging in a damn tree, just all kinds of weird shit, and we can't have an explosion.
To
I'm
be
just
fair,
saying it was sillier than I thought the rest of the movie had been so far.
James, not once have we put up with a hockey mask wielding idiot.
That's true.
Not even once. We have not done part 3 onward. Okay, you dealt with a potato sack wearing idiot. God, can't have anything. Well, the gremlin reappears and tries to snatch the baby one more time, but Maud catches up and finally kills it.
The gremlin.
Yeah, on the ground, and it was a really cool scene where they fight in the water. You know, I had to say it, Casey. Chloe Grace Moretz is not a do-nothing bitch.
Of course not.
She's an absolute hammer, and I will forever be a fan of Chloe Grace Moretz. But that's where, it's where the movie ends. They watch the fool's errand explode, burn up, and we're left with the credits rolling with some archival footage of women serving in the British and American World War II Air Forces. So probably some of our WASPs, our Anglo-Saxon something.
Protestants.
Yeah, Protestants. Casey, what did the critics think of this movie?
You know, watching the movie, I was really, really curious on what they were going to say.
Could have gone either way, huh?
Because to me, yes. And not to say I didn't dislike the movie, but it was, like I said before, pretty silly. So I was like, sometimes critics aren't about that life. Sometimes critics are really hard on some silly movies. But looking at this one, we have a 77% with the critics, but the audience score, this is one of the biggest disparities I've seen. Audience score is a 32.
Audience 32 and critics what?
77. That's a lot. But we've got a good critic review and a bad one. The good one is Shadow in the Cloud is an enjoyable popcorn movie that promises in-your-seat jumps with a handful of gender politics thrown in for good measure. And then a bad one is more talk or more monsters. Pick a side, Shadow in the Cloud. And I think both of those things are true.
Yeah, both of those are fair, but there's nothing wrong with a little girl power movie.
No, definitely not. I just wish there had been more monsters.
Oh, yeah. Of either, of any gender, right? So, girl monsters, boy monsters, don't give a fuck. Give me more monsters.
I agree.
And those were the bad ones. That was the bad ones. Well, did you say the good ones?
No, I said the first one was a good one.
Okay, yeah. Well, okay, so the disparity between audience and critics, I really do wonder what caused that big of a difference. Do we have enough sample size, really, it's a fairly new movie. It's 2 years old. I'm sure there's plenty of reviews out there. I don't know. That is a big difference. 32 and 77. Well, what are your final thoughts on this one, Final Girl?
Pretty silly, but I appreciate some fun alien vibes, and I thought Chloe Grace Moretz really pulled her own in a movie where for a great part of it she was the only person on screen.
Good call. And James, I'm very, very happy with this pick. I guess we would have to call it an action horror, a lot more action than horror, but as a creature feature, sometimes you just have to combat the creature, right? Not everything is a stalker flick. This one is very much the type of film that we like to do here on Slashers and Screamers. And James, I think you outdid yourself with this one, and I guess we should go ahead and give me your final thoughts as well.
I knew you'd like it, Bill.
You liar. You thought I'd hate it.
I thought it was a good movie.
You did good, James. You did good.
That's right. Always picking the good stuff, Bill.
You rarely miss, James. You do rarely miss. I bet Rick would have loved it too.
I would put money on the fact that Rick is a hater of this movie.
He doesn't even have COVID. He just didn't want to talk about the movie.
Well, Rick can hate all he wants to, but this movie was reviewed.
Oh, yeah. And his name's on it. His face is right there on the front of the podcast graphic art.
That's right. Rick called me and gave me his final quotes on this movie.
Oh, man, what'd he say?
Oh, I thought it was a good movie. That was a recording that Rick sent me earlier.
Oh, man.
For this episode.
Man, James, if Rick were sitting here right now, what do you think he would say as his final thoughts of this movie? That's exactly what I thought he'd say. Guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Slashers and Screamers.
Rick, close us out.
Catch y'all next.